rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events, this is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. Happy Friday. It's the end of the week for a lot of people, including, well, not for me just yet, because I've got tomorrow to stream for you guys, but my regular 9 to 5, I'm no longer there. So, Joan over on Facebook says, "Where is everybody?" Well, I think I've got a couple people that are traveling, that are doing other things. They did let me know that they were not going to be here. They'll watch later. It's not a problem. So anyway, let's see. Oh, I guess there is a representative, Corey Mills from Florida, I believe. And, at least I think it's Florida. And anyway, Corey Mills is, up in North Carolina helping out, like physically there helping out. Well, that's cool. It's always nice and good to have, representatives that will actually stand on what they say and will do what they say and so on and so forth. So, yeah. Oh, okay. So anyway, let's go ahead and get things kicked off here with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by none other than the longtime listener, great sage of the Budweiser variety, the great Budweiser, with the Pledge of Allegiance. So please, if you don't mind, please stand, remove your hat if you're wearing one. And of course, place your hand over your heart and join in with Buddy as he leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I hereby pledge my allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which she stands, one nation under one God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all her citizens. So help me God.
And of course, I thank you, Buddy, for sending that in. And hey, if you would like your version of the Pledge of Allegiance done here on the program, you can do it really easily. All you have to do is record yourself doing it and then take that audio file and attach it to an email. That email address that you're going to send it to is fans, F-A-N-S, at americanperspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at americanperspective.online. All right. Let me see here. Oh, yes, tonight's sponsor, or headline sponsor, I should say, is theflagshirt.com. That is theflagshirt.com. They are running a special sale for Columbus Day. They are giving up to 50% off select styles. If you want to go and check it all out, go to theflagshirt.com. That's right, theflagshirt.com, and you can find all these patriotic styles. I wear their polos and their t-shirts. I won't say I wear them all the time because I do intersperse sometimes with my logoed gear, but they have some great patriotic styles. I'm wearing one right now. You can just go and check them all out. They've got men's clothes, men's, women's, children's, as well as all kinds of accessories to go ahead and get yourself set up to be a patriotic display on your own body. Go to theflagshirt.com, and if you go there, you can not only get up to 50% off under their Columbus Day sale, but you can also get free shipping on orders $75 or more. But I know some people can't order $75 worth of product. Therefore, I am kicking in an additional promo code for $5 off any order. Doesn't matter what the order is. Go to flagshirt.americanperspective.online and you'll get a promo code that you can copy and paste into the promo code box at checkout at theflagshirt.com. Go to flagshirt.americanperspective.online to get your individual $5 off coupon code to enter into with the promo code box at theflagshirt.com as you're getting ready to go out and check out from your order. Once again, that's flagshirt.americanperspective.online to get yourself a $5 off coupon at theflagshirt.com that you enter in at checkout. On your way out of checking out from buying a product, you'll get $5 off by using that coupon code. Head on over to theflagshirt.com and get yourself patriotized. All right. Okay. I'm not exactly sure what my rumblers are saying about forwards and backwards and upside down and sideways and slant ways and long ways and short ways and any other kind of way, kind of like the Wonka elevator. Anyway. All right. Well, we've got a bit of a good mood today. Oh, actually, I wanted to let you guys know we are actually in a storm watch right now. That storm watch is a geomagnetic storm watch. This just came out right here before I came on the program from the Epic Times. Geomagnetic storm watch issued as sun unleashes its strongest solar flare since 2017. The Space Weather Prediction Center issued a geomagnetic storm watch from October 4th, which is today, to October 6th. Apparently, the sun decided to burp, and it burped pretty powerfully because NASA stated that its Solar Dynamics Observatory, which of course constantly monitors the sun, captured the flare on Thursday morning. This was the second intense flare this year and the most powerful since 2017. Now, for those of you that don't know, solar flare is a burst of energy that can last from several minutes to a few hours, according to the NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. They occur when the powerful magnetic fields in and around the sun reconnect and are usually associated with active regions, often visible as sunspots, where the magnetic fields are the strongest, according to NASA. Their strengths are classified on a scale ranging from the lowest, which is the B class, to C class, followed by the M class, and then, of course, the largest, which is the X class, and each letter representing a tenfold increase in energy output. This particular flare, according to NASA, is classified as an X9.0 flare. This is a pretty intense flare that's coming our way. Woohoo. It's the second strongest solar cycle the second strongest in solar cycle 25. So we apparently had an X8.7 flare on May 14th. And it's also marked the strongest since 2017, when the sun emitted two powerful flares measuring X13.3 and X11.8. Solar flares can affect radio communications, electrical power grids, navigation signals. NASA stated that flares also pose risks to spacecraft and astronauts. Radiation from the recent signal flare could lead to strong degradation or signal loss in high-frequency communication bands over much of the sunlit side of Earth, according to NOAA. Boy, those amateur radio guys that are out there, they're not going to be too happy about that. I actually know that solar flares can also excite certain bands too, so they could be not happy or they could be happy. Anyway, Bonnie asks if it will mess with electronics. It can. Not saying that it will, but it can, as I already stated. Users of high-frequency radio signals in affected areas might experience loss of contact or major disruptions lasting for several minutes to a couple of hours. Solar flares are also often accompanied by a coronal mass ejection. Whew. It's a good thing I wasn't drunk when I read that. During which a large mass of plasma and highly magnetized particles is violently ejected from the sun. So they've issued a storm watch from October 4th to October 6th due to a pair of coronal mass ejections that are anticipated to arrive over the course of the next 3 days. So there you go. Oh, I hate it when the sun gives us mass ejections. It's just one of those things that happens. And some of us communications and science geeks, we kind of get into that sort of thing. So there you go. All right. Well, good news on the horizon, of course, is that the port strike has apparently ended. The union, like I announced last night, because my rumblers are so well informed, they were letting me know that that the port strike was over. But here, it's finally, I mean, I won't say finally, but it's been formally announced. Here we go. It's been formally announced, and now apparently the dock workers went back, or the port workers, I should say, went back to work today. So we have, people back unloading stuff in several ports. They've reached a tentative agreement, which essentially is that they will gain, at least until things are finalized, but for right now, they will attempt to gain 62% wage increase over the next 6 years. So I would imagine that's probably like a 10% increase, every year or something like that. The agreement also extends their current master contract to add more time to iron out the details over the new contract. Now, keep in mind, they're all talking about the business aspect or the money aspect. Don't forget, there was that entire thing with regards to automation that was a bit of a problem for this. And so anyway, they have reached the tentative agreement on wages and have agreed to extend the master contract until January 15th of 2025. Now, what's interesting about that is 5 days. Folks, 5 days before a new administration would come in. So if they can't get crap figured out by then, there could be some that there could be a big problem with the incoming administration. And assuming that's Trump, this could very well be the Democrats' attempt to drop a time bomb on his administration coming in January 20th, should he win the election on the 5th. And my guess is that's kind of the direction that the Democrats are sort of going. They want him because he's reportedly non-union, he doesn't back the unions and so on and so forth, even though the rank and file back him. The rank and file of the unions back him. We've talked about this for quite some time. But anyway, so they will return to work today. They did. Work stoppages were estimated to affect billions in daily trade volumes. Economists projected that a week or month-long disruption could have harmed the economy and potentially rekindled inflationary pressures. According to the conference board, a 1-week strike would have cost the economy $3.78 billion, or roughly $540 million per day. Grace Zwemner Zwemmer, associate U.S. economist at Oxford Economics, estimated that strike would trim gross domestic product growth by as much as 0.13%, or $7.5 billion for each week that it was going on. So obviously, there's a reason why this has happened. And I have a feeling that it was a backdoor deal phone call to the union guy saying, look, if we can get these people to agree to this, would you guys come back to work? So, anyway. Now, keep in mind that a lot of these ports that were basically shut down receive a wide range of goods, including agricultural products, electronics, European automobiles and parts, and household goods. The American Farm Bureau Federation had estimated that if the ILA handled ports, estimated that the ILA handled ports manage $1.4 billion of weekly agricultural trade. 90% of cherries, 85% of canned food, 82% of hot peppers, 80% of chocolate, 75% of the nation's bananas arrive at these terminals. Okay, that's it. Yeah, these guys, they literally can't stop because of the chocolate. Okay, this is whiskey talking here. I need chocolate. I need my chocolate. That's the only kind of candy that exists in this world is chocolate. And so if these ports only get 80% of the chocolate, I'm sorry, but that's it. I'm union busting. Here I come. So anyway, So yeah, they're back at work for now. We'll see what happens all the way in January, if everything comes back to. Hopefully they can get a permanent contract. I mean, 62% over 6 years of a increase. I mean, I'm telling you, man. So, yeah, Pops McGroin comes in representing the McGroins over on Rumble, says, you and me both, Rick. How are we to live without chocolate? I don't know. How am I supposed to live without whiskey? Chocolate and whiskey. That's how I survive. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I'm fairly certain that the Democrats had something to do with this. I really do. I don't think that it was just happenstance that they came to an agreement with this 62%, because originally they were offered 50 prior, supposedly. And so, yeah. Anyway, sorry, I had to get a drink there. All right, well, some more fallout from the debate. And by fallout, that actually means the Dems are freaking out about stuff. So, NBC's, what's her name? Kristen Welker. She's a Meet the Press moderator. Not that I know. I mean, I know the name Meet the Press, but I don't really watch it. I mean, seriously. Anyway, this article in the Daily Wire. Dems are panicked about Vance being so likable in the VP debate. Oh my gosh, they just can't believe that Vance could actually be likable, that people would actually like him, that he may show some charismatic tendencies. I mean, they're freaking about this. Anyway. So an NBC journalist who, again, is Kristen Welker, she stated on the Today Show, well, I'll tell you, let's go ahead and just listen to what she said here. Let's see if I can get it up. Here we go.
And so I was getting texts from Democrats, panicked, quite frankly, who were saying, wow, he's really moderating himself on a lot of these issues. He's the most likable he has ever been.
Yeah. They're freaked. They're freaked. They're scared. Well, I mean, Welker also added to this, Vance knew his challenge was to deal with the likability factor. Yeah, I don't think so, sweetheart. But anyway, the fact that in our poll, he's the second most disliked running mate in history. Oh, who's the first? Tim Walz, maybe? Anyway, and so I was getting texts from Democrats, panicked, quite frankly. You know, wow, he's really moderating, who were telling her, wow, he's really moderating himself on a lot of these issues. Welker also said Democrats will try to make Vance saying that he wanted to focus on the future rather than dwell on issues related to the 2020 election into a flashpoint by turning it into an ad. She added, they believe that's going to be a way to really try to appeal to that very small sliver that is still undecided but moderate independent suburban voters. Well, I've got something for that here in just a minute, but I've got something on that here in just a second. But I want to finish this out. Early surveys indicated that Vance edged Walz out on Tuesday, though it remains to be seen how their performance could impact the 2024 election. Frankly, folks, again, VP debates in general usually don't do anything. Okay? They usually don't do anything to change voters' minds. That being said, however, this one could be an outlier for this whole thing because of the performances of both the candidates. I'm not going to necessarily call it a train wreck of Walz, but he definitely was in a bit of a minor accident of his own. Okay. And honestly, I mean, Vance did outperform. I mean, I'm telling you that, to me, that debate was even more presidential than the Trump-Biden, Trump-Harris debates. Those two, I mean, you got to remember, I try not to compare things very often because I know that everything is should be individually evaluated to be proper. But let's be honest, the debates of the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and even up into the early 90s potentially are much, much better. So we'll have to see if it actually made a difference. Realistically, it's going to take a little bit for this to kind of filter down into the polling and that kind of stuff. I mean, a lot of people think that exit polling and polling right after is really going to make a difference, but yeah. I just don't think that, I'm just not entirely sold. I mean, pretty much before anybody even walked into this debate, pretty much everybody was sort of already, I mean, we're talking about a very minor sliver of voters. And unfortunately, it's that sliver that could make the big difference at the end. But I don't think that any of the debates have really been all that like earth moving, or in this case, voter moving from one to the other. I just don't think it's really that. So again, that's part of the reason why I think that we're not going to see any other debates. Of course, we're, 30 days out or whatever it is from, 31 days out, whatever it is from November 5th. So yeah, we're going to be just fine. So, today co-anchor at that same show, Savannah Guthrie, noted that Walz's effort in the debate, quote, wasn't a disaster, but it certainly wasn't a tour de force, and asked what people are saying about how he did against Vance. NBC News senior Washington correspondent Hallie Jackson, who appeared on the show along with Welker, said she thinks Democrats are frustrated he wasn't a little bit more Tim Walz that Kamala Harris picked to be his vice presidential nominee because he is great on television in the eyes of the campaign. And the only thing that they could call out is the moment that he retorted against Vance over January 6th. Well, I hate to tell you this, folks, but he was not like, he wasn't even close to a tour de force. It wasn't even close to like, he didn't do too bad. No, he did pretty bad. He admitted on camera that he lied, which is just another lie to add up to all of the other lies that I've been calling out. And there's even something more coming out about him here in just a minute that I'm going to cover. But yeah, this is just, I mean, yeah, let's face it. Tim Walz is a train wreck just waiting to happen. Well, as I was saying, J.D. Vance is going to have to potentially live that moment down where, where he did not answer about the 2020 election, but he was asked about it. He was asked about it at a campaign event in Auburn Hills, Michigan, when he took questions from the press corps. And, well, let's just say that he answered it about as well as anybody could in this particular situation. Take a listen.
Then we'll hit the road.
Hi, Senator. Will Jones from Local 4.
Hey, Will.
I spoke with some elected officials or election officials last week about their concern about people who are trying to undermine our elections. Why didn't you answer the question last night during the debate about who won the 2020 presidential election?
Well, look, here's the simple reason. The media is obsessed with talking about the election of 4 years ago. I'm focused on the election of 33 days from now because I want to throw Kamala Harris out of office and get back to common sense economic policies. But I also think you can believe that America needs to have secure and free elections, but also talk about the fact that just a couple of weeks ago, Democrats in the U.S. Congress blocked a piece of legislation that would have ensured illegal aliens don't vote in our elections. If you believe in American democracy, if you believe in our constitutional republic, you should be trying to strengthen American election integrity and not weaken it. So we're going to talk about election integrity because I believe that every vote ought to count, but only the legally cast votes, and that's why we fight for election integrity, and that's why we care so much about it.
And Vance is right there. Folks, it's plain and simple. The Democrats don't want to pass the SAVE Act. The Democrats don't want to put in voter ID laws. The Democrats don't want to make it to where the citizens are the only ones, the citizens of America are the only ones that can vote in our federal elections, even though that is the constitutional path. These people, meaning the Democrats, these leftist, lunatic Democrat morons, have all been saying, we are the ones guarding election integrity against the Republicans. But yet they won't pass the single piece of legislation that honestly would go so far in making the American public feel more confident in their elections. And J.D. Vance is calling that out right here, right now. He is pointing that out. People, it's really very simple. It doesn't take a genius to realize that our federal elections, now state and local, that's entirely on the state, that's entirely on the locality. However you want to do that, that's fine. But in the federal election system, there should be one way to vote, and that simply is you got to show a government-issued ID, picture ID. Me personally, I think it should only be the passport, and it should only be citizens voting in those elections. I've shown you multiple times on this program how often non-citizens have been voting and have been cleared out from voter rolls just here recently. So, anyway, so Vance does continue on, but I'm not going to play the rest of the clip. You can find the link to where this is from. But he continues on a little bit and continues with his answer. But there you go. That's why. That's why he didn't do the answer on the debate stage, which is essentially that the Democrats, for the Democrats sitting there and saying, we're not going back as their slogan, okay, they seem to want to look back to 2020. They seem to want to look back to January 6th. They seem to want to look back when talking about the things that Trump is going to do. They're not looking at moving forward. They don't want to move forward until the Republicans are slammed or smashed or from the top rope elbowed, WWE style, in the head for that. Well, speaking of Tim Walz, oh my gosh. Well, you guys, most of the time with a VP pick, you don't really know anything about what's going on. You really don't. But sometimes some things come out, and in my opinion, this was very poor vetting. If Rahm Emanuel did this vetting, is it Rahm Emanuel or is it Eric Holder? I can't remember which, but one of these two went and vetted Tim Walz and thought that Tim Walz was going to be a good subject. Well, with everything coming out about him and all of his lying, his, misrepresenting himself, him being stupid, not being able to speak properly. Yeah. Well, now even CNN is getting in the fray. Really? And this doesn't work very well for you when this happens. CNN investigates CNN politics as fraud scandals erupt in Minnesota on Governor Tim Walz's watch. Accountability is in short supply. This is the first paragraph. One state audit found that bonus checks intended for frontline workers during the pandemic were handed out to undeserving recipients. Another criticized a Minnesota state agency for failing to ensure that there were no conflicts of interest in taxpayer-funded mental health and addiction programs. And a third detailed lax oversight of a program to feed needy kids, which federal prosecutors say resulted in the nation's largest COVID-era fraud scheme. And by the way, that one, the food kids, is under investigation, federal investigation right now. Now, it continues, the article continues, but when confronted with these and other troubling examples of waste, fraud, and abuse, some state agencies working under the administration of Democratic Governor Tim Walz repeatedly minimized or dismissed the allegations. The state's nonpartisan auditor, Judy Randall, told CNN. Now, a CNN review of audits and the responses they prompted, as well as interviews from statewide politicians and pundits, found that Walz had been a hands-off leader when it comes to seeking accountability for episodes of fraud and mismanagement on his watch. What's more, some state agencies, headed by his appointees, have responded defensively in the recent months to the audits, a dynamic that Randall, who has worked in the department for 26 years, has found surprising. Randall told a local media outlet this summer that the responses from some agencies to her audits have had a shoot the messenger feel of late. CNN reviewed more than a dozen reports from her office that held specific agencies responsible for allowing fraud, waste, or mismanagement on their watch during the Walz administration. This guy, I tell you, they didn't even bother. They didn't even bother. So, for an example, some addressed high-profile scandals such as the pandemic fraud allegations and a troubled light rail project, whose genesis predates Walz but is currently monitored by 17 Walz appointees, that has suffered from more than $1.5 billion, that's with a B, in cost overruns. Randall's office faulted the agency last year for a lack of transparency about rising costs and failure to ensure contractors' ballooning price tags were justified. Others found holes in safeguards to waste and raise more targeted conflict of interest concerns, such as a State Department of Public Safety employee who received payments from the recipient of a grant that the employee oversees. Folks, you can't trust a politician, and you sure as hell can't trust a politician who is a Democrat. Yeah. These guys are, they are just corrupt to the bone. Biden is corrupt. Kamala Harris is corrupt. They're all corrupt. They're corrupt to the bone. Yeah. Oh, and you want this guy, second in command, one step away from the presidency? No, thank you. I don't want him. Nope. Nope. Not at all. Another State Senator Mark Coran, who is a Republican who serves as the vice chair of the state's bipartisan legislative audit commission, said the governor's appointees across the board at almost all agencies have been hostile and uncooperative when citizens are seeking transparency and oversight through the legislative auditor. The hostility is led by Governor Walz. And you think, I mean, seriously, you think the Biden administration, by the way, is hiding emails and communiques between him and Hunter, meaning Joe and Hunter. They're holding off on those. Sorry, that was me drinking. And you honestly believe that any of these guys, any Democrats, you can't trust a Democrat any farther than they can throw. Personally, I can't necessarily trust a politician. It's kind of sort of like the idea of lawyers, politicians, and salespeople. You just got to throw them, can't trust them any farther than you can throw them. And believe me, I've seen some people where you can't throw them very far. But that being said, this is a Democrat. If they tell me they're a Democrat, they're automatically at the bottom of the pile. Republicans will get a sort of a pass until, until they can prove otherwise. But, yeah. This is just horrible. I don't even know why they've even picked this guy, really. And they gave up Josh Shapiro. I think we need to make sure that this guy does not make it into the White House in any capacity whatsoever. Well, speaking of slick, corrupt Democrats, here we go with hair gel himself. That's right, Governor Gavin Newsom, or otherwise known as New Scum. So, Newsom, essentially put in a meme ban recently. And, yeah, meme ban. Oh, no, you can't make jokes about me. You can't make jokes about any people that I am in charge of. You can't make jokes at all. Yeah. Well, Elon Musk, this is really what kicked it off, was that Elon Musk, who was resharing a meme from Christopher Coles, and Christopher Coles is a satirist, whatever you want to call him, and he's the one who was behind a lawsuit that was filed, designed, of course, to kill the ban. So Christopher Coles took to X, writing, "Victory, the lawsuit against Newsom has been won because of the fact that a federal judge ruled that the ban is unconstitutional." Now, Elon Musk got involved, by the way. Leave it to Elon to get involved. But Elon Musk got involved, and he basically shared memes and stuff and has been kind of pushing on California's unconstitutional law. But he wrote on X, "California's unconstitutional law infringing on your freedom of speech has been blocked by the court. Yay!" So Coles goes by Mr. Reagan online, and originally he shared a Kamala Harris campaign ad parody on July 26th. The video itself used many visuals present in real Harris ads in circulation at the time, but had a new script read by a convincing AI-generated Harris sound-alike. The AI voice said, "I, Kamala Harris, am your Democrat candidate for president because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility at the debate. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I am both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist." Oh, that's good. The video apparently was enjoyed significantly more traction after Elon Musk retweeted it, bringing in a net of hundreds of millions of views. You know what? I figured it out. In order to market this show, all I have to do is say something or do something and have Elon Musk retweet it somewhere. I'll get right on that. But anyway, somebody should take this video and tag it. Tag Elon on X. But anyway, Mia Ehrenberg, a spokeswoman for the Harris campaign, told the Associated Press, "We believe the American people want real freedom, opportunity, and security Vice President Harris is offering, not the fake manipulated lies of Elon Musk and Donald Trump." Hey, dumbass Democrats, okay? There is such a thing as satire. There is such a thing as joking. There is such a thing as humor. I mean, seriously, people, do we go after SNL for all of that? I mean, shit. Did you see Donald Trump go after Alec Baldwin for Alec Baldwin's impersonations of Donald Trump on SNL for the time that he was in office? No. What this thing said isn't exactly false either. It's not. Anyway. So, Newsom apparently wrote in there, manipulating a voice in an ad like this one should be illegal. I'll be signing a bill in a matter of weeks to make sure that it is. Well, he went ahead and signed the bill. And now this Judge John Mendez of the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of California noted that Newsom's bill, AB 2839, quote, acts as a hammer instead of a scalpel, serving as a blunt tool that hinders humorous expression and unconstitutionally stifles the free and unfettered exchange of ideas, which is so vital to American debate. Can you imagine if all the political cartoons, I mean, I've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of political cartoons that are taking aim at Donald Trump and put him in a unflattering light. And you're sitting here telling me that with the invention of AI and everything else that this is going to be illegal now? I mean, seriously, this is going to be illegal. Anyway, what a mess. What a mess. Anyway, glad that a federal judge has seen through it. Yeah. So AB 2839, for those that don't know, banned the distribution of advertisements or other election-related communications containing materially deceptive content. Hello? Every freaking ad from all sides of the political spectrum, they all contain materially deceptive content. Just look at every single real ad of the Democrats. They all claim that Donald Trump is to blame for January 6th. He's not. They all claim that he is a tyrant and going to be, like Hitler or whatever. He's not. But hey, whatever. Anyway, they use the term material deceptive, and it was defined apparently as the audio or visual media that is digitally created or modified that includes but is not limited to deepfakes and the output of chatbots, such that it would falsely appear to a reasonable person to be an authentic record of the content depicted in the media. You know what? This all started, I'm going to tell you, this all started with that stupid ass Tide Pod shit. Actually, no, it even goes back farther than that. You can't fix stupid, people. You can't. Ron White had it right. You cannot fix stupid. This is just absolutely ridiculous to sit here and say that, oh yeah, we gotta police thought. We gotta police all of this stuff because, gosh forbid somebody actually has a bit of a funny bone. Jesus Christmas. What in the hell? Anyway, I'm kind of glad that the court knocked this, or has at the moment knocked this down. Oh, folks, we're headed toward that, where we're headed toward 1984, where you can't laugh, you can't love, you can't do whatever. If you ever read 1984, I'm telling you, it's like total humorless. You can only love Big Brother. All right, O'Keefe Media Group, OMG. That's O'Keefe Media Group. That's what it stands for. Anyway, they were talking to an MSNBC producer who admitted to the broadcaster's role in the presidential election campaigns. So this is like an 11-minute video. I'm not going to play it for you, but it was released on Thursday, yesterday, that shows producer Basil Hamdan acknowledging that MSNBC is a, quote, mouthpiece for the Democrat Party, revealing that the corporation is doing all they can to help Kamala Harris defeat Donald Trump in the next month's presidential election. Okay. I'd like to know if MSNBC is tracking this in-kind contribution to the Kamala Harris campaign and is reporting it. Hamdan said that MSNBC's, this is the guy, by the way, let's show that in. So there's the guy, said that MSNBC's coverage reflects Harris's messaging on a particular day in his conversation with an undercover female journalist. He added that the network's audience had dumbed down in recent years, allowing the network to relax on critical journalism. Folks, here he is. This is an insider telling you straight up that the Democrat Party thinks you are stupid. That even MSNBC believes that the people that watch are stupid. That's not me telling you that. That's him. That's this insider, this producer. I mean, I already know that anybody that votes Democrat is a moron. But beyond that, this is your own mainstream media outlet who you sycophantically fall in love with and believe everything that comes out of them and any of their hosts' mouth without checking on it, without verifying the information. By the way, I'm telling you right now that as far as I'm concerned, you can check anything that I say or do you can check it all out. I'm not lying to you. To the best of my ability, I make sure that everything that I say is true and factual and correct. It's just the way I am. But, moving on, Hamden continued and says, the type of people who work in Democrat politics and in the campaign are often the same type of people who appear on air at MSNBC. It reinforces the point I'm making. This news network is indistinguishable from the party. Really? The news network is indistinguishable from the party. Well, that tells us a lot. Apparently, the guy now has locked his social media presence because he was caught on camera. Ugh. Yeah, these people. Anyway. They tell you who they are. That's the problem that I have. Is these people tell you who they are. They tell you exactly who they are. And yet we still have morons who are out there in the general populace who are still thinking that this guy or that these people have not only their interests in mind, but also are the arbiters of truth. They're not. They're not even close to it. All right, well, the latest job numbers came out just in a real quick switch of gears here toward the end of my hour. The job numbers came out, and apparently we supposedly, according to the government, have gotten close to 250,000 jobs or more, slightly more. I think it was like 254. Well, here's the problem. First of all, how much you want to bet? How much you want to bet that they are going to revise that in a month? How much you want to bet that's going to happen? Anyway, the White House is celebrating, of course, and so is all the leftist sycophants on any of the socials. They're all talking about the jobs report and the economy again and everything else. Well, here's the reason why, is because President Joe Biden, which, by the way, is he still really our president? I mean, hasn't he like gone to Rehoboth Beach and like given up now? Anyway, he said, today we received good news for American workers with families, with more than 250,000 new jobs in September and unemployment back down at 4.1%. With today's report, we've created 16 million jobs. No, you haven't. And 10 or 11 of them came back from COVID. Unemployment remains low and wages are growing faster than prices. No, they're not. They haven't caught up from that 9.1% that happened after 9.1% inflation that happened after 18 months of your being in office. He continues here. Under my administration, unemployment has been the lowest in 50 years. A record 19 million new businesses have been created. And inflation and interest rates are falling. They're still not lower than when Trump was in office, by the way. Neither one of them are. Well, Team Trump, which in this particular case was the Make America Great Again PAC, released this statement on Friday, which is all true. Over the past year alone, 825,000 American citizens lost employment, while most jobs went to foreign-born workers. 1.2 million foreign-born workers gained employment. Full-time jobs are down. There's 251,000 fewer full-time jobs, while part-time workers jumped. Jobs reports like this almost always get revised down. We cannot trust this administration to report the actual jobs data. In the last year alone, they have manipulated these numbers to reflect almost 1 million fake jobs and have taken victory laps for and then later revised down. Yeah. All of these job gains, by the way, over the course of the last 4 years, a vast majority of them have been part-time jobs. Full-time jobs have been dropping. And it accompanied, and by the way, that was all I just noticed that was all part and parcel of a piece that came out in Town Hall. But here there's a graphic that was posted by Dan Kowalski on X. And it compares Joe Biden and Donald Trump. The total unemployment rate pre-pandemic, the official U3 number, is 3.5%. Under Biden and Harris, we're looking at 4.1. Underemployment, which is the U6 number, was 7% under Trump. It's 7.7 under Biden-Harris. And then they break it down by sex and then further by ethnic background. For men, it was 3.5%. For Biden-Harris, is 4.2%. For women, it was 3.5% under Trump, and for Biden-Harris, it's 3.9%. So in other words, so far, everything under Trump's numbers have been better than Biden-Harris. Every single one. The only difference is the black men, 6.8% under Trump, and Biden-Harris, 5.6%. So that's unemployment. So that has gotten better under Biden-Harris. But everything else, every other one of these numbers, oh, sorry, I take that back. Hispanic women under Trump were at 5.5% unemployment, and Biden-Harris has them at 5.4%. So just in two small differences in categories, everything else was under Trump, better under Trump. Trump is February of 2020. So that would have been after, or actually, sorry, slightly before he left office. And Biden in September of 2024. These people, they lie. They lie to us. That's all they do. I'm telling you. That's all they do is lie, lie, lie. All right. Well, big news, big news announced yesterday, or maybe today. First of all, Trump is holding his Butler County, Pennsylvania revisit tomorrow. And apparently Elon Musk is going to attend in person at that event. So that's quite interesting. Elon said that he will be there to support Donald Trump on Saturday when the former president returns to Butler, Pennsylvania, to hold a rally at the site where the first assassination attempt against him unfolded earlier this year. The Republican presidential nominee is slated to speak, that's tomorrow, at the Butler Farm Show Fairgrounds, and Musk is saying, I will be there to support. So there we go. The Butler is, yeah. I don't know when that's going to happen. Let's see. Donald Trump, of course, said in North Carolina last week that he was wanting to return to the venue in order to finish the speech. I'm not exactly sure what time it's going to be there, but I would imagine that he's planning on recognizing, he's going to honor Corey Comparatore, or Comparator, however you pronounce it. Going to honor him, and then he's also going to recognize the two other Americans who were wounded by the shooter. So, yeah, I would imagine that stuff is going to happen. It's going to be an interesting, a somber event, but also hopefully the Secret Service will be better prepared this time around. All right, folks, that is it for me for tonight. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. Sign in, and once you are signed in, find the American Perspective channel and make sure you hit that green follow button to make sure that you get notified when I go live every single time. On your way out, make sure you hit all those thumbs up and like buttons and all of the subscribes and everything else that you might have across all of my platforms. That would be great. I do appreciate every single one of you, and I'm trying to grow this channel, and that's a great way to do it. We will see you tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is Saturday, so it's 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, And good night, everybody.
The previous broadcast was produced and is owned by Active Eye Media LLC. All rights reserved.